Hello boys and girls of grade 6. Today we will continue with our topic, the natural regions. Of course, the natural regions is a topic that is done in social studies. So for social studies today, we will examine the natural regions. But of course, what aspect? The aspect of the effects of climate on economic activities. Boys and girls, you are aware that in Guyana there are 4 natural regions, and so each region has its own unique climate that is experienced across the region. Because of that, the economic activities are done in keeping with the climatic conditions that are experienced. 1. On the low coastal plain. What type of climate is experienced there? There are 2 wet seasons and 2 dry seasons. There are 2 distinct rainy seasons during the year. The longer wet season begins around April-May and extends until August, and a shorter rainy season from November to December. It sometimes stretches over to January. What happens during the wet season on the low coastal plain? It is during this season that rice farmers take the opportunity to prepare their lands for farming. How do they prepare? They plow, they flood, and they scatter seed paddy as they prepare for the new crop. There are 2 dry seasons which begin in February and run until March. The second dry season begins in August, late August, and extends until October. This is experienced on the low coastal plain. What happens during the dry season? During the dry season, crops that were planted in the wet ripen and they are harvested. Harvesting is done, thus allowing farmers to enjoy the profits of their labor. So, on the low coastal plain, there are 2 wet seasons and 2 dry seasons. Next, we examine the seasons or the climate of the hilly sand and clay region. In the hilly sand and clay region, the climate that is experienced there is hot days and cold nights. However, rainfall is experienced during the periods when it rains on the coastal plain. But it doesn't rain for long in the hilly sand and clay region like it does on the coastal plain. How does the hot day and cold night affect the economic activity in the hilly sand and clay region? This climate provides the temperature for citrus, pineapple, and other fruits to be grown. As a matter of fact, logging is also done. Logging is done on a large scale because part of Guyana's forest wealth thrives here. So in the hilly sand and clay region, where it is hot during the day and cold during the night, logging is another activity that is done because that type of climatic condition caters for and provides the trees of the forest to thrive healthily. So next we look at the forested highland region. What type of climate is experienced in the forested highland region? Of course, rain falls all year round. However, wet and dry seasons are experienced amidst the rainfall. What effect does this have on the economic activities that are carried on in the forested highland region? Because of the heavy rainfall that is experienced in the forested highland region, the rainfall provides water for many rivers in the highland region. These rivers provide mining opportunities for gold and diamond miners and are also used for transporting timber from logging areas. Now, in the forested highland region, we can see that miners are making use of the opportunity to dredge for gold where there is a lot of water. Next, they are using the waterways of the river to do washing. As they wash down the gravel and the soil, there they are able to identify that precious mineral, gold. So the waters of the river provide that washing opportunity for miners. Next, we can see that the waterways, the rivers in the forested highland region, are being used as a means of transporting timber after being cut from the forest. Finally, we will examine what happens in the interior savannas as it relates to climate. The interior savannas experiences 6 months of rain and 6 months of dryness. So we say 6 months of wet and 6 months of dryness. The wet season commences from May and ends in September, and the dry season commences from October and ends in April. During the rainy seasons, the Amerindians are engaged in farming and hunting. Some crops that they plant are cassava, yam, corn, maize, beans, tobacco, and sweet potatoes. The animals that are hunted, of course, they hunt during the wet season. The animals that are hunted are deer, labber, tapir, which is known as bush cow, and wild hogs. The animals are hunted for their meats. Hunting is done in the rainy season because it is at that time the animals will leave their homes and head into the forest to look for food. Some problems that the Amerindians encounter during the rainy season are diseases of their cattle, flooding, migration, meaning they have to move from place to place, and even the animals too, damage to property, which is experienced during thunderstorms. During the dry season, they take the opportunity that is provided by the atmosphere from the weather to dry their cassava bread, to make their calves reap, to make their farine and dry meat, which is called tasso. They also go fishing as a means of rounding up food for their families. Of course, just as how the rainy season brings its problems, the dry season has problems that the Amerindians encounter during the dry season. 1. Forest fires. Forest fires destroy grazing grounds and cause stampede among cattle. Stampede simply means that they are scattered and some are killed in the process. There is another problem that they experience, and this one is known as rustling. What is rustling? Rustling is simply the stealing of cattle. To avoid rustling, they brand their animals, they part boundaries, and they keep their cattle together. So, boys and girls, we can see that the climate of each natural region does affect the economic activities that are done in each region. On the low coastal plain, 2 wet seasons and 2 dry seasons are experienced. In the hilly sand and clay region, they experience hot days and cold nights. In the forested highland region, they experience rainfall all around. However, amidst the rainfall, there is dry season and also the wet. Then finally, for the interior savanna, there are 2 seasons, wet and dry. And so based on these, the economic activities thrive and citizens or the population benefit. So boys and girls, this has brought us to the end of our study of the 4 natural regions of Guyana. I am sure you are happy with the information that you have gained. I encourage you to do some additional reading as you will learn more about our natural regions. Until next time when we do another topic, bye boys and girls.